Good morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to Custom Card Review. So, for this custom card archetype, I will. It's for a specific ones, like what you saw in the thumbnail, or like it during the intro. It's Dark World support, and the flick image. Like basically, so each one of these, except for Tree Blaster, the this one, or Blaster Tree of Eyeball, it's in the whole different archetype. So, yeah. So now let's start with the most strongest to a little bit weakest ones. And they're balanced, by the way. Whoever made a comment on Dueling Book, apologize to me. Because they, or if it was like one of you guys or girls, said that these cards aren't balanced. So, you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, let me tell you. These cards are balanced. They don't have any graveyard things. So basically, but except for, discarding. But if it's, sent from a deck to the graveyard, that's called sending. So, let's start with the only one that's not the Dark World support. This is Blaster Tree of Eyeball. He's a level 4 Earth plant type monster. And his effect is when this card's normal or special summon, you can inflict damage to your opponent times 500 for each level this card has. So basically, 4 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. And then if it attacks, you can pay 100 life points to destroy all cards. So basically, it's explodes your opponent's field and hand to the grave. And their effects are negated till this card leaves the field. And then this card attacks 3 times. So basically, yeah, this card is totally different. So, yeah. And plus, if it gets sent to the grave, you can special summon it. But its level decreases by 1 for each time this card comes back to the field until the end of your 3rd turn. So basically, if it got destroyed by your opponent's turn once, twice, and then 3 times. So basically, you can inflict damage it's just like how trees are like, you have a percentage, like gambling, but your opponent's life points are on the line. And then this card's level goes back to the original level. So yeah. And now we got that out of the way. I kind of see why it's not too balanced at first, but it's a Dark World, so if it mixed with the Dark World support card turns, you can, like, basically, it becomes broken. Like, it has to be discarded, so, to the graveyard by a card effect. Your opponent must send all cards, or, like, specifically pendulum monsters, from their deck and hand to the graveyard, and then this card gets special summoned to your field in attack mode. And then this card gains 100 attack for each pendulum monster from the graveyard by this effect. So if your opponent had 4 pendulum monsters in the deck, or if someone was stupid enough to play or has all the pendulum cards in their deck, you could send all of the deck to the graveyard. Next card is actually will help you better. Like, if this card is like, most of these, like this one, Fiend, this one's like a snake, reptile. This one, if this card is just like discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can select 3 cards from your graveyard or deck to your hand for once per turn. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can send this card to the deck and from your graveyard to draw 3 cards from the top of your deck. So basically it says, like, draw 3, or shuffle this card. This one, Dark Meteor of Dark World. So your opponent, I'm not reading like how all of those cards. So basically, your opponent must send all spells and trap cards from your opponent's, from their deck to the graveyard. And then this card is special summon to your field in the defense mode. And then this card gains 100 attack, or 1 million attack, or defense, for each spell/trap cards from the graveyard by this effect. So basically, it gains 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Like, I don't know what the math is. So, this one, Dark Frankenstein. I call it Frankenstein. Or Dark Freak of the Dark World. He's a dark, level 12, with a 4,000 attack, 25 defense. His effect is me itching my ear. That's his whole effect is. Just kidding. Sorry about that. My sneeze is... So, yeah. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 2 cards from your graveyard or battlefield or deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to the banish zone, and then your opponent discards all monsters from their hand and deck to the graveyard. And then you draw 2 cards from the top of your deck. So basically, it's basically like saying, oh, I'm going to kill all of your monsters with just that's like with this just one effect. Basically, this and a meteor could basically deck out your opponent. I was trying to go for these two to go for deck out decks. But see that I mean a card that could easily kill pendulum monsters. That is included. 3-card combo. You can activate like a spell card called Card of Destruction or whatever that's called. Here. If you could activate this card and send those 3 cards, you're basically instant win. I mean, like basically like this or something like this card. You can draw those 3 cards and got rid of like those 2 monsters, like this one or this one. And you could basically deck out your opponent's entire hand. You could only have like if they had like every monster card. And now these 2 are new guys. The Dark Dice or Dices of Dark World. If this card is discarded by a card effect, you can roll 2 dice, and then both players must draw the same number of cards equal to that combined number. And then your opponent must discard the same amount. So basically, it's like that anime spell card that both players draw 6 cards. Or that anime spell card that basically send like 4 cards, or like Merrick had. But this one, and yeah, so then if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card in your graveyard to pick a number. Then you can activate it. So basically, like you can choose, like between number 1 through 5 would be number 1. You can select 2 cards from your deck or graveyard to your hand. 2 is your opponent must discard all cards from their hand to the grave. 3, both players lose 1,000 life points. 4 is re-choose. And 5 is you can shuffle this card into the deck from anywhere and then draw 2 cards. So basically, like, If you chose like number 4 for 4 turns, or like 4, 4, 4, you could choose like any of those. So yeah. And then we got Hunt is Dark World Pointer of Souls. It's a continuous trap card, so he's basically broken in most decks. If this card can only be activated if your opponent, or if your Dark World monster's effects gets negated by a card effect. Before activation, you can add one card effect. Add one card from your graveyard to your deck, and then shuffle it to negate that card effect, and then end your opponent's turn. Once per turn, your opponent, you can draw 4 cards from the top of your deck to your hand. And then you can discard 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card to add all cards from your graveyard banish zone to your deck, and then shuffle it and then draw 2 cards. So basically, I was trying to go for like, oh no, all my plays are in the graveyard. I need to grab them from my graveyard and banish zone. But I can't, and just like secretly or cheated in. So, yes. And yes, these cards would be, if they were printed, they would be broken, like tier 1 for the Dark World decks. Basically, aka, like, this card would probably get banned, and because this one destroys all pendulum monsters, and with today's format is all about like pendulums and like links. It destroys like basically all the pendulums, so your opponent must just like choose one or the other. Yeah. And then there's this one. Destroys all spells and trap cards on your opponent's field. And then got this one that destroys all the, destroys all or discards all monsters from their hand and deck to the graveyard. So basically, your opponent can't never do like anything to your opponent. So basically, your opponent's card effects can't even activate. Plus, this one allows you to reshuffle it or do anything to it. And then this one, if like say any of those got negated, you can shuffle the one card, like it, back to your deck, to negate your opponent's card. Yes. I think that's broken. But that's okay. It is normal for it. But hey, it's a lot better than my Soul Eater archetype. this card or these cards are like basically allows you to like take like it's basically like copying your soul to put into a children's card game. Like I even turned the dual logs into the zombie logs. Yeah, so yeah. Because one, it's cool to see someone like zombie logs doing it. And then we got the underground Yugi Spidey. So, yes. He's basically meant for this archetype. So basically, you could just choose to like, I summon this and I activate this trap card. That allows me to basically do anything to my opponent. Like basically I could take his soul and put it into a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And turn it into like its own archetype. So yes. And the dual logs is pretty crazy character. Like this one basically summons 2 zombie type monsters. So yeah. And so before we go, there's one card that I am kind of working on. I'm trying to find it. Give me a moment. Here, I'll just put that up there. But I didn't find it because I think I accidentally put it on my computer. So, but you get the Destiny Hero Strange Man. He is basically a retrained of Diamond, or not Diamond Head, Destiny Hero Diamond Dude, or whatever his name is, though. So, this is like once per turn, you can select one card from your deck or graveyard or banished to your hand, and then you can activate these. So basically, you can summon it, you can activate it without a cost to activate a stupid thing. And this is only for Destiny Hero support. And all these, here. This one, like if this card is sent to the grave, you can special summon 3 of those. And then plus the effects, like you can summon them instead. Yeah, so each one is like broken. It's like one of my other archetypes. Here, hold on. It's like this card, the Shooting Star Hers of Wishes. This one, you can like basically make or you can make your opponent or make yourself like gain, and you can also activate its like effect of you can activate this card and now say what you wish for. And like you can say, oh, I wish for the instant win for my next two duels. Yeah, that's broken. And then we got, and plus it's also the second broken card that I ever made in when it came to the dueling book. The first one that I did was drawing duel or duel drawer. So yeah. So yeah, that's how broken it is. For all of the cards to be balanced. So yeah. And please leave a like, share, subscribe. Peace.